What's going on, guys? Chameleon here. Today I'm going to show you the best class setups for the newest LMG in Modern Warfare called the Fin. The Fin is a very complicated weapon with multiple configurations. It's basically 3 guns in one. Fortunately though, I've done all the research and hard work for you guys, and I'll show you exactly how to best set it up. First, I'll go over the best class for Warzone, then the best class for multiplayer, and lastly, I'll go over the best class to use with the chainsaw, because honestly, the chainsaw is a lot of fun to use. What is your favorite gun attachment in the game? Leave me a comment below. But real quick, before we start, please smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And here we go, let's do this. To unlock the Fin, you need to get 1 melee kill with an LMG in 7 different matches. The easiest way to do this is to use the Holger LMG, add on the breacher device as your muzzle attachment, double time as one of your perks, and jump in to shoot the ship or any small map. Once you're in, just run around and get a melee kill, then back out and join another game. Repeat this process until you get 7 total kills, and that's it, you'll have it unlocked. Now let's jump into the attachments. First up, we have the muzzle. For Warzone, you want to set this to the monolithic suppressor. This will give you sound suppression to silence your weapon and increase your damage range. Sound suppression is super important in Warzone because if you don't have your weapon silenced, you'll appear on enemy radars every time you shoot, which will bring you a lot of trouble. Damage range is also important since Warzone consists of a lot of long range combat. You'll want to be able to pick people off from far away, and the monolithic suppressor gives a 7.5% increase in damage range, so this is the obvious choice for Warzone. Next up, we have the barrel. This is where it gets complicated, so bear with me on this. You have your normal barrels and then you have your adverse barrels. With the normal barrels, the Fin has a fire rate of 630 rounds per minute, which is kind of average for LMGs, but with the adverse barrels, the fire rate will jump to 1,000 rounds per minute, and that is insanely fast for any gun in Modern Warfare. It really does become a melt machine. The normal barrels are about 3 to 4 shots to kill, adverse barrels are 4 to 5 shots to kill. Your TTK in multiplayer with normal barrels is about 190 milliseconds, while the adverse barrels are 180 milliseconds. So the adverse barrels actually aren't too crazy in multiplayer, but it's a much different story in Warzone. For our Warzone class, we only want to pick between 2 of these barrels, either the XRK Longshot Advantage barrel or the XRK Longshot Adverse barrel. Assuming the targets are full health and fully armored, the normal barrel will have a TTK of 660 milliseconds, while the adverse barrel will drop the TTK to 480 milliseconds, making it a super fast killing weapon. Basically, the adverse barrels shred through people. They're pretty awesome. So now the question is, which barrel should you pick? This depends on your playstyle. If you're looking for a close to medium range weapon with a fast rate of fire, the adverse barrel is the way to go. If you're looking for something long range that's accurate with lower recoil, the advantage barrel will be better for you. To draw an AR analogy, maybe it's kind of like an M13 versus an M4. M13 being the normal barrel and the M4 being the adverse barrel, something like that. For my personal playstyle though, I definitely prefer the adverse barrel. I love the fast fire rate and the quicker TTK, so I roll with that. For the laser, we only have one option here, and that's all we need. You want to set this to the tac laser. The tac laser does wonders on your ADS with the Fin, and the base ADS is 416 milliseconds, which is normal for LMGs, but adding on the tac laser will give you a huge improvement and drop it to 300 milliseconds. So you definitely want this attached. And of course, the only con here is that your laser will be visible to your enemies, but it's entirely worth it. For the ammunition, you want to set this to the 5.56 NATO 100 round belt. The default has 75 rounds in it, and this gun flies through ammo, especially with the adverse barrels. But if you're playing solos in Warzone, maybe even duos, you could go with sleight of hand instead. Generally, I play quads the most, so the less I have to reload, the better. As for the CT rounds, aka case telescope rounds, I don't recommend using any of them, mainly because you'll take huge decreases in damage range at 25% and almost a 50% decrease with your muzzle velocity, making the NATO rounds a much better option to use instead. Lastly, for the underbarrel, I set this either to the Ranger foregrip or the Commando foregrip, depending on which barrel I'm using. If I'm running the XRK Advantage, I'll go with the Ranger foregrip because it gives you greater range and I'm not concerned with the ADS penalty since I'll be using this gun for long range combat only. However, if I'm using the XRK Longshot Adverse barrel, that means I'll be in close to mid-range fights, so I'll use the Commando foregrip instead since that has no ADS penalty. But either way, you can't go wrong with these two, both will help with recoil and aiming stability. There's actually a good amount of idle sway on the Fin when you're aiming down sight, so the aiming stability increase will definitely help. Personally, I don't mind the iron sights, however, a lot of people run optics, so if you want an optic attached, you could either drop the extra ammo, or if you can handle the recoil pretty well, maybe drop the underbarrel instead. It really depends on you and the game mode you're playing. You can maybe go with the VLK or a hollow sight. So that's the best class to use in Warzone. Now let's take a look at the best class for multiplayer. You want to drop the monolithic suppressor since it's multiplayer and you don't need the extra damage range now for the lightweight suppressor. This will give you less of an ADS penalty while still keeping your gun silenced. Your barrel should be the XRK Longshot Adverse barrel if it isn't already. Keep the tac laser on for ADS help. Keep the 100 round belt for the ammo. And lastly, you'll want to remove the underbarrel to add on the no stock. The no stock will give us extra mobility and further increase our ADS. It actually drops the ADS from the base speed to 300 milliseconds, making this perfect for an aggressive multiplayer class. But once you've finished changing these attachments, you'll now have the best class for the Fin to use in multiplayer. Now let's go over the best class to use a chainsaw with. This is just to have fun. You're going to change the stock to the XRK chainsaw. You'll change the barrel to the factory adverse barrel, and the muzzle to the monolithic suppressor. And that's it. ADS isn't as important because when you ADS with the chainsaw, it just tightens up your hipfire spread. This chainsaw setup isn't going to become meta or anything, but if you want to go into a game and have some fun, this is a great class to do it with. You'll really enjoy it. Now some quick final notes on the Fin. Personally, I really like the complexity of the weapon. It's 3 guns in 1. It's a serviceable gun in multiplayer, but not the most competitive for multiplayer. However, I could see this being used in Warzone a lot, specifically with the adverse barrels for close and medium ranges, because the adverse barrels just shred people. The fire rate is crazy on them, to the point that the barrel actually catches on fire while you're using it. It's pretty cool. But go ahead and customize this weapon, try it out with the different setups. Let me know what you guys think. And that about wraps it up for this video. If this was helpful to you or you just enjoyed it, please smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Well, need that shooting. Yeah. I'm gonna
He's down. One's down. He's
cracked. Soldiers behind me.
He's down.
Fine. Oh, okay. I gotta go.
One's down. He's dead. He's cracked. He's down. He's down.
Hey. I hear him.
Nice. Down. He's dead.
That's good.
He's cracked. He's down. Dead.
Dead.
UAV is ready for... Just out. Got the veto. There. Put it down. Target that. That's a kill.
Enemy down! Move! Reloading!